"Look at this one walking in like he owns the place," the store manager barked, his laugh sharp and mean. It sliced through the air like broken glass. A couple by the perfume counter froze, glanced my way, then looked down at their shoes. "You?" "Hear me?" he snorted, louder now. "Brooks Brothers suit in a clearance aisle, must have borrowed it." My hands tightened around the briefcase handle. His words hit harder than any shove, pressing against my ribs, daring me to breathe. "The cashier whispered, not to me, but to the air between us. Don't make it worse." "Worse?" I muttered, my throat tight. Worse was already done when he opened his mouth. The laughter rolled again, joined by a half snicker from someone in line. "People like you always try to act above your station," the manager smirked, chin raised. "But you can't hide what you are." "What am I?" My voice trembled, but not with weakness, with rage held in place, caged. He shrugged. "A customer who doesn't belong here." A woman in a red coat stepped forward, then hesitated. Her lips parted, then sealed. Silence swallowed her whole. "You see?" He spread his arms wide, addressing the quiet crowd. "No one's saying I'm wrong." I looked at their eyes. Some darted away, some stared through me, glassy and guilty. Not one word, not one challenge. The betrayal was heavy, not sharp, like chains pulling me into the ground. My chest burned. Childhood echoes came back, uninvited. The teacher who called me boy instead of my name. The banker who asked if I was sure I belonged in his office. The cop who laughed while searching my pockets in front of neighbors. Always the laughter, always the silence after. "You done staring?" The manager sneered, tapping the counter with his pen. "Buy something or get out." The briefcase in my hand felt heavier, but my voice lightened, cutting clean. "Your laugh doesn't shame me. It only exposes you." He chuckled again, careless. "Oh, it shames you. I can see it. All over your face." I leaned forward, close enough for him to smell the steel in my words. "No. What you see is restraint. The trouble was caused the moment you laughed." He faltered, just a flicker. But it was there. The crowd shuffled, uneasy now. My stomach twisted, but my back straightened. That laugh of his had drawn a line in the sand. And tonight, I knew where I stood. That was the night I decided. Their comfort ends where my dignity begins. "You're late," my wife murmured, her voice carrying that soft blend of worry and suspicion. She was sitting at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug that had gone cold. I dropped my briefcase onto the chair. "Don't start with the clock. Start with the look on my face." Her eyes narrowed. "What happened?" "The store. Manager laughed at me. Laughed like I was a joke dressed in a suit, in front of everyone." The mug clinked as she set it down too hard. "He said what?" He didn't need to say much more than his laughter. The crowd, they stood there. Eyes down, mouths closed. Complicity wrapped in silence. From the doorway, my brother's voice cut in, heavy with anger. "Why didn't you call me? I'd have walked right back in there with you." "Because fists don't fix everything." My words came out flat, though my fists were still aching from being clenched. He barked a short, bitter laugh. "You think silence fixes it? You think letting them laugh fixes it? You're the CEO of a billion-dollar company, and you still get treated like the boy who was stopped outside his own schoolyard," I muttered, the memory burning alive. The cop's hand pressing against my chest. The chuckle as he said, "Gotta check you, son. Can't be too careful." My wife's hand reached across the table, fingers trembling against mine. "We've survived worse," she whispered. I yanked my hand free, voice low but raw. "Survival isn't justice." The room hung heavy with silence. My brother paced, jaw tight, shoes dragging like thunder. "So what then? You plan to fight? To go public?" "Fight how?" I snapped. They'll call me angry. They'll call me dramatic. They'll call me everything but right. My wife's eyes welled, tears balanced but unspilled. Maybe it's safer to let it pass, for the children's sake, for ours. Her words cut deeper than the manager's laugh. Safer? I whispered, almost choking on it. Safer was never an option. Safety ended the first time I learned to lower my voice to survive. Safety ended when silence became the price of keeping my job. Safety ended when they taught me to swallow every laugh, every slur, every sideways glance. My brother slammed his palm against the wall. Then stop swallowing it. His voice ricocheted through the kitchen, bouncing inside me, forcing breath where there was none. I stared at them both, heart pounding. I'm tired of their comfort. I'm tired of teaching our kids that dignity is negotiable. If silence built their world, then words will break it. My wife closed her eyes, whispered into her own hands, words can cost us everything. I leaned forward, the weight of her fear pressing against my chest. And silence already has. The clock ticked, loud in the pause, mocking. Every tick was an echo of all the moments I'd let slip by. Tonight, the echoes turned to screams in my bones. You look tired, one of my colleagues muttered as I walked into the office, eyes glued to her screen. Tired? I snapped, dropping my briefcase onto the desk. I was laughed out of a store last night. Not by a stranger, but by a manager, while everyone around me said nothing. That's not tired. That's rage running on no sleep. A chair squeaked behind me. Another colleague leaned back, voice careful, almost rehearsed. Maybe he didn't mean it that way. Maybe it was, I don't know, a misunderstanding? My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. A misunderstanding? He mocked my suit, my presence, my right to stand in that line. You don't misunderstand laughter. That cruel. You hear it. You feel it. The HR manager adjusted her glasses, hesitant. Sometimes people say things without thinking. It's possible he didn't know how it came across. I slammed my palm against the table. Stop dressing racism in softer words. He knew. You know. We all know. The room went silent. The kind of silence that feels like an accomplice. One colleague finally muttered, "You're overreacting." I turned, my chest tight, words scraping their way out of me. Racism doesn't need your defense. It thrives on your silence. No one moved. No one breathed. Just the faint hum of the air conditioner filling the void. I looked around at them. Educated, polished professionals, yet their faces blurred into the same expression I saw in that store. Avoidance, discomfort, fear of naming the truth. I've sat in too many meetings where jokes at my expense slid by with nervous chuckles, I whispered, voice shaking. I've carried too many apologies that came only in private, never when it mattered. Silence isn't neutral. It's betrayal. A younger analyst across the table shifted uneasily. But what do you want us to do? March into the store and shout at the man? No, I muttered, breath heavy. I want you to stop pretending silence is harmless. I want you to stop making excuses for people who laugh at me and expect me to swallow it. The HR manager's voice dropped to almost a whisper. We have protocols for filing complaints if you'd like to start one. Protocols? My laugh cracked, bitter. Do protocols strip the stain from my dignity? Do they erase the smirk from his face? Do they stop the echo of his laughter when I try to sleep? The room caved into quiet again. I could feel their discomfort pressing against me, suffocating. Stood, pushing the chair back so hard it scraped the floor. If you can't stand beside me when I'm humiliated, don't claim to stand with me at all. No answer. Only silence, thick, complicit, and deafening. I pushed through the store doors, chest tight, pulse thundering in my ears. His laughter still echoed from that night, dragging me back like a chain. I wasn't here to shop. I was here to end silence. The moment. His eyes caught mine, his smirk spread. Back again? Thought you'd be too embarrassed to show your face? Embarrassed? My voice shook, but only with contained fire. The only shame in this store belongs to you. A customer froze mid-step, clutching a basket. Another whispered to her friend, "That's him." The manager leaned across the counter, lips curling. "You think your fancy title makes you untouchable? You think money changes what you are?" I stepped closer, every word pressed like a nail into wood. "My worth isn't up for your laughter, but yours is now measured by every word you just spat." His laugh cracked, sharp and mocking. "Measured by who? These people? They won't defend you. They didn't last time, and they won't now." I turned, scanning the onlookers. Their eyes darted away, shoulders hunched. The same silence. The same betrayal. "You see?" he taunted, spreading his arms. "They know their place. Why can't you?" My fists clenched. "I know my place. It's standing right here, telling you your time of mocking men like me is ending." A man in line murmured, "Maybe just let it go." His voice trailed off when I locked eyes with him. "Let it go?" I whispered. "Every time we let it go, we teach them our dignity can be discarded. Every time we stay quiet, their laughter grows louder." The manager's jaw tightened, though he still wore that crooked grin. "Big words. But in the end, you'll leave. I'll still be here." "No," I snapped, voice rising until it cut the air. "In the end, you'll choke on your own laughter, because this time, the silence won't protect you." The room shifted. Whispers rippled. Uneasy. Eyes flickered toward me, then back to him. His smirk faltered, just for a breath. And in that breath, I knew. The balance had shifted. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Notifications stacked on top of each other, voices bleeding through the screen. "Sir, this is Channel 9, a reporter's voice crackled when I finally picked up. "We've received footage of the confrontation at the store. Do you wish to comment?" Footage. My chest tightened. "Who sent it?" Anonymous submission. "It's circulating fast." I hung up before my voice betrayed the tremor inside me. Moments later, another call lit the screen. "You think you're some hero?" A stranger's voice hissed. "Stay quiet, or lose everything." The line cut. My hand shook as I placed the phone on the table. My brother stormed into the room, waving. His own phone. It's everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They're quoting him, "You don't belong here," over and over again. "They're not just quoting him," I muttered, throat raw. "They're quoting every man who ever laughed like that," my wife whispered from across the room, clutching her phone like a weapon. "They're calling you arrogant, entitled. They're saying you provoked him." A chill spread across my skin. Of course they are. When truth rattles, lies rush to cushion the guilty. Another message buzzed. My brother snatched the phone before I could. His face darkened. "Anonymous. Number again. You'll regret opening your mouth." "Regret?" My voice cracked into a laugh, brittle as glass. "I've already lost the illusion that silence keeps me safe." He gripped my shoulder. "Then brace yourself, because this storm isn't stopping." As if on cue, the phone rang again. A journalist this time, words rapid fire. "Public opinion is split. Some call you brave, others reckless. Do you want the chance to clarify your stance?" "I don't need to clarify my humanity," I muttered, voice steadying with each syllable. The calls didn't stop. Some venomous, some supportive, all feeding the fire. Every whisper from that store, every silence that night, had now erupted into a roar too loud to be ignored. The storm had broken, and I stood in the center, stripped bare but unbowed. The boardroom. Tables stretched long, polished, and cold, but the air was thicker than glass ready to shatter. The chair's voice cut first, clipped and sharp. "We are here because of you," he muttered, nodding toward me. "And because of the noise you've created." "Noise?" I whispered, my hand tightening on the armrest. That wasn't noise. That was a laugh that stripped my dignity in front of strangers. The noise is your empire scrambling to bury it. A director leaned forward, fingers steepled. This has gone viral, but people forget quickly. We should weather it. Issue a statement of regret. Keep him, he pointed lazily toward the store manager slumped at the far end. In position, the manager sneered, his voice oily. Finally, someone here with sense. This whole thing is overblown. Overblown? I muttered, heat rising up my throat. Do you even hear yourself? You mocked me in public, reduced me to your joke. Now you want to reduce this to inconvenience? Another director cleared her throat, firm. The footage is damaging. Sponsors are threatening to pull support. This is no longer just about one incident. The chair's gaze darted between us. We have to consider the brand. Do we sacrifice loyalty to an employee, or do we bend to public pressure? I leaned forward, voice steady but cutting. You call it pressure. I call it truth finally echoing loud enough that you can't ignore it. The manager slammed his hand on the table. I've worked here for 15 years. One laugh, one harmless laugh, and now I'm on trial. Harmless, I whispered, my chest tight. Harmless was stripped from the word the moment your laughter carried centuries of chains with it. You weren't laughing at a suit. You were laughing at my existence. A hush fell. Even the hum of the air conditioner seemed to fade. One director broke the silence. We can't be seen as condoning racism. Not in this climate. Not with cameras watching. The manager's voice cracked, desperate now. So you'll throw me away to please him? His eyes locked on me, venomous. Because he waves money around? I rose slowly, palms flat against the table. My voice didn't rise, it carved. If my money built your empire, then my dignity will decide if it survives. The room stilled. Chairs creaked as eyes shifted toward the chair. He adjusted his tie, voice low. We'll reconvene. A decision must be made. I walked out, pulse steady but heavy, knowing the balance had tipped. The storm I carried into this room was no longer mine alone. The boardroom lights felt hotter than fire. Every pair of eyes cut into me, but all of them turned when the door opened and the store manager strolled in, still smirking like nothing had happened. He chuckled under his breath. This again? I thought we'd be done with the theatrics. The chair's voice snapped like a whip. Sit! The manager dropped into a chair, arms crossed. So, what's the charge? Laughing? Since when is humor a crime? My breath caught, fury pushing against my ribs. Humor doesn't strip dignity. Your laugh did. He waved his hand, dismissive. Please, it was just a joke. People are too sensitive. This whole circus. Over nothing. A director leaned forward, eyes cold. Nothing? We've seen the footage. We've heard the testimonies. Do you call this nothing? The manager's grin faltered. People twist things. Cameras don't. Catch the whole picture. A recording burst from the speaker in the corner, my own image on the screen. His voice filled the room. People like you don't belong here in suits. Who you trying to impress? Followed by his sharp, mocking laugh. The silence afterward was heavier than stone. His face drained. I didn't mean it that way. You meant every word, I whispered, my fists trembling against the table. And every silence around us confirmed it. The chair's voice thundered. You laughed at a man whose signature keeps this company alive. Consider this your last laugh. The manager's body jerked forward, desperation breaking through his mask. You can't do this! I've given my life to this company, one, director murmured, voice sharp as glass. And in one laugh, you showed the world what that life really stood for. His hands shook. His eyes darted. I can apologize. I leaned in, my voice calm but merciless. Apologies don't rewrite history. They only confirm the guilt you swore you didn't carry. The chair tapped his gavel. Final. Your contract is terminated, effective immediately. The manager slumped. The arrogance drained out of him like air from a punctured balloon. His mouth opened, but no laugh came. For the first time, silence belonged to him. The boardroom was quiet, too quiet, like the air before a storm. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. The chair cleared his throat. "This is the final hearing," he muttered. "Mr. Collins," his eyes flicked toward the manager slouched at the table. "You will answer for your conduct." The manager laughed, thin and shaky. "Answer? I've already been crucified by the press. What more do you want from me?" "What we want," I whispered, leaning forward, "is the truth stripped bare. Not excuses, not laughter." He scoffed. "Oh, please. One mistake and suddenly I'm the devil. People are too soft now, too fragile." I clenched my hands under the table, nails biting into my palms. "Fragile?" I carried your laugh like a knife in my chest. "Fragile is surviving humiliation while strangers stare and say nothing," a director snapped, voice sharp. "Enough of minimizing this. You mocked him for being a black man in a suit. That is the truth." The manager's face paled. "That's not what I meant." "You meant every word," I cut in, my voice steady now, iron beneath the tremor. Your laugh carried the weight of every chain, every slur, every door slammed in my face. You didn't just mock me. You mocked the belief that I belonged. He shifted, throat tightening. "I didn't see you as different." My words struck harder than I intended. "You never saw me as human. Today the world sees you as less than one." Silence fell. Heavy. Final. The chair leaned forward, voice thunderous. "The contract is void. Your employment is terminated. Leave this room." The manager's chair scraped violently against the floor. His lips quivered, but no sound came. For the first time, there was no laugh, only disgrace dripping from his silence. I rose slowly, my chest burning with something new. Not rage, not grief, but dignity reclaimed. Justice didn't roar. It whispered in the stillness, unshakable. The house was quiet, softer than it had been in weeks. My wife sat at the edge of the couch, fingers tracing the rim of a teacup she hadn't sipped. She looked up as I walked in, her eyes searching. "It's over?" she murmured. I exhaled slowly. It's over. His contract's gone. His arrogance, too. They stripped him of everything he thought untouchable. Her lips trembled, not with fear this time, but something lighter. "And you? Did you get back what he tried to take?" I lowered myself beside her, the weight still there, but no longer crushing. "No one gives dignity back. You take it back yourself." A small voice came from the hallway. My son, clutching the edge of the doorframe. "Daddy, they laughed at you." My chest tightened. His innocence cut deeper than the manager's cruelty ever could. "Yes," I whispered, reaching for him. "They laughed. But today, we showed them why the world listens when we speak." He climbed into my lap, pressing, his small hand against mine. "Will they laugh again?" I held his gaze, steady, certain. They might. But next time, we won't carry it in silence. Next time, the laugh will echo back on them. My wife's hand covered mine, her voice soft. "You turned their cruelty into something no one can erase. You gave them no place to hide." I nodded, the memory of that boardroom still burning behind my eyes. Their laughter once stripped me bare. Now it only echoes as proof that dignity cannot be laughed away. The room stilled, not in fear, not in silence of betrayal, but in peace. And, for the first time, the quiet felt like triumph.